Dear Daily Diary, I have nothing much to report today, except I'll talk a bit about white noise and a bit about the exchange policy in Taiwan. I've just started this and I don't know what I'm going to talk about, and that's how I roll, I guess. It's a very cold day today, right from the morning. But the good news is we had what we call white noise. So, what is white noise? Is white noise all the noise that all the white people make when they are having a party in summer? No, it's not a racist thing at all. Americans came up with this term white goods. And white goods were nothing but, all the goods that they started making after the world wars because they had a lot of raw material lying. And I think especially after the Vietnam War. And they started making mixies, mixer grinders, and refrigerators, and all kinds of stuff, which they called white goods. Your washing machine is a white good, and your fans, your air conditioners, and they were white in color, incidentally. And they were used in the new suburbs that had come through, like Green Ivy Villas or Summers Meadows or Everglades. These are all the areas where they build all these new houses for newlyweds. And it was the American family. So I knew what white goods were, but when I went to my second cousin's house in Canada, and I'm talking about a guy called Rupesh, whose wife was very, very nice to me at that time. And I went there, and she was, when she came to say goodnight to me, she said that there is a fan in this room. Okay, and Canada is cold at all times. Vancouver is much cooler than Toronto, no matter what they tell you. Or maybe it's just a bit more wet, and my body reacts to wet. Like Taiwan is not very cold, but it's always wet and windy. So it feels terribly cold. There was an American who came to Taiwan, and he said that 14 degrees in Taiwan feel like 3 degrees in the USA. And he was talking Celsius. And I believe him because I think he told this to a fellow teacher of mine who used to work with me last year. And I heard about this. So anyway, his wife tells me, Sneha, she's a lovely lady who teaches Zumba. His wife tells me that, you will need some white good noise. And she was absolutely right. So I had the fan going, and I was born in India. So in India, we had the whirring of the fans, and we had the ceiling fans, not table fans. It's a hot country. It needs a lot of air, a lot of cooling down. And we grew up at a time when there was not enough air conditioning, which is a good thing because that time the temperatures were much lower in cities like Bombay and what have you. And now the temperatures have changed. So going back to white goods, she says you'll need some white good noise to sleep. And she was right. When she turned the fan on, it made good noise and I fell asleep. That was then. It was yesterday. I'd been trying to sleep because the temperature varies a lot, and I've got good duvets, which makes me warm or cold or whatever, but never a constant temperature. And I had not an ex-girlfriend, but some love interest of mine who said, put the AC on 26, and that was a good idea. But yesterday I started the fan, and I kept the fan on the floor. So sometimes I cook in my rice cooker, and there's a bit of moisture on the floor that I don't even realize. It's probably the water vapor or condensation or dew or whatever the scientific name for that thing is. But yesterday I slept very well. When I say yesterday, I mean this morning, because I tend to sleep in the mornings. And I kept the door open, the balcony door open, but the net door was still on, functioning. So I slept well, and eventually I went and found myself an electric shaver by a company called Panasonic, and it was so bad that I had to return it. Now, whenever I buy things, I never take the receipt. And in New Zealand, if you do something like that, they will find your receipt for you. They do that, and they'll give you a duplicate receipt. But here they don't do that. And we went through the receipt recycle, plastic bag, but we couldn't find anything. Eventually, they gave me a brand new Panasonic, and I gifted to the boys who helped me, because my hair growth is slightly different from the Chinese hair growth, and so I'm sure that they will be able to use it for a long time. And that was my story of the day. But yeah, white goods, sometimes it's good to keep the fan on and the door open on nights that you can, even though it's winter, because the fresh air might induce you into a deeper level of sleep. That's my advice of the day. Have a nice day. Thank you for listening.